Hello everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. Here I am stuck on day 100 of quarantine. No, I'm kidding. I think it's like day 8 or something and I'm already going crazy because I'm just bored. But at the same time, it gives me a lot of time to make more YouTube videos. So anyways, let's get rolling with this one. So this one is one that I'm actually really excited to do because I think a lot of people need help with this. And as you saw in the title, it's basically tips to save money and how to, be smarter with your cash. So let's start with a small disclaimer. I am no financial advisor and in no ways do you need to take my advice. I'm just gonna give you what has, worked for us and what we're doing and how we're going to hopefully, cross your fingers, be retired on a cruise in Bahamas, sipping some margaritas at like 40 years old and never have to work again. But that might not happen and I might be watching this video in like 10 years thinking you're such an idiot. But for thinking that, but I'm hopeful. Put those dreams out there, girl. Put those dreams out there. Okay, so money saving tips. First of all, I want to start off with saying I've been a saver my entire life. Like anybody who knows me, who's watching this is probably like, yeah, she's cheap, AF, cheap. And I'm just like, I don't care what you call me. You can call me cheap, whatever. I just know that I'm very smart with my money and I really don't care what people think or don't think. It works great for me and while other people are complaining or talking shit, I could just be sipping my margaritas on a cruise at 40. So anyways, let's get started. So one of the biggest saving tips that I have is, well, there's a lot. Let me think through them. But one is, just because you graduate school or whatever, you start making good money out of, a new job, it doesn't mean you need to start spending all of a sudden. Because that's what happens. The second you get a promotion or you get a bonus or you get an increase, like whatever, all of a sudden you're just like, great, I'm gonna go buy this. I'm gonna go buy that because I'm making more money. And that's not always the smartest way to do things because the more money you make, the more money you spend. And at the end of the day, like you're not really doing anything saving wise, you're just spending more money because you're making more money. So to me, I've always said this, it's not about how much money you make, but it's about how much money you save. So for example, I could be making $50,000 a year and saving $10,000 a year just by being really smart. Or I could be person B making $150,000 a year and spending $200,000 a year. And they're negative 50 and the other person A is plus 10 grand. So it's like, it doesn't matter how much income you're making, it really matters how smart you are with your money, with what you do have and what you do collect and how you save. So tips that I've done my whole life is I've always really lived below my means. So I've considered myself like I still live like a poor student in a weird way. Like my shopping, my luxury hasn't really changed in my whole life since I'm like 18 years old. Like the same things that I would buy back then or the same thoughts that I would on how I would manage my money are very similar to how they are now and I'm 30 years old and probably making like a lot more money than I was at Starbucks at 18 years old. But my spending is very similar. So just because I started to make more money, I didn't start buying more stuff. So for example, when I started working as a wireline field engineer in 2012, I had this crappy Yaris. Like I think it cost me $5,000. I brought it from Montreal all the way to Alberta and I had the shittiest car parked at the shop. Everybody had BMWs, Mercedes, like the nicest cars, and here I was like this crappy like $5,000 car. And they were always like, oh, wait till you get your first paycheck, wait till you get your bonus, you're gonna buy a new car because like your car is shit. And the whole time I was like, I didn't care. I started making more money and there was no alarm in my head to think like, I need to go buy a pickup truck. I need to go buy a nice car so that I could fit in with everybody else. It was like, I'll keep riding this $5,000 car because I mean, I have it, I don't have any payments on it, and I'm just going to save, and that's what I did. So for years and years, I think like 3-4 years, I still had the shittiest car at the shop and everybody would make fun of me. But I didn't care because I was gonna make fun of their bank account and not mine. And so that's one tip is I think a lot of people fall into this trap of buying you know, nicer things and, you know, what's in style, what's in and all that, just to fit in, just to go to work and like have a nice coat, have nice shoes, have, you know, like a nice car, like the same stuff that everybody else buys to fit in, but it costs money. And that's the thing, is a lot of people want to show that they have money by buying all these things, when in reality their credit cards are maxed out, but it's a show for everybody. And that's the society that we live in. It's all like, you know, the Joneses, when in reality it's all on like your credit card, not on your, like, because you could afford it. So the thing is all about like just learning to not care about what other people are gonna say about you because you don't have, you know, the latest iPhone or the latest this and that. So that's tip number one, is stay within your means, shop like you're still a poor student, and save more than what you make. And also stop caring about what other people think, because it's not gonna help your pocket. Now, another tip is going out to eat. Now, my husband, I can hear him in the background, because he loves to go out to eat, and we fight all the time about this, but I was always against going out to eat because I always felt like it was a waste of money. Like, I'm gonna go to a restaurant and pay $25 for a salad with like 3 shrimps on it, when in reality, I know it costs them like $4 to make this entire thing. Like, I could go to the grocery store, buy a whole thing of lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, a whole bag of shrimp, like 3 pounds, probably for all of what I would have paid for one plate, and I could probably make like 6 meals out of it. So for me, in my head, I could just never justify going out to eat. It's like, it blows my mind that people do that all the time, or like every day. And to me, that's a luxury. Going out to eat is definitely a luxury, and it's very expensive. When you realize how much money you could save by just making your own food at home, it would be crazy if you just look at the numbers. So I would always bring my lunch. During university, when everybody would eat at the cafeteria, I would always bring my little lunch. At work, I would always bring my lunch. People would always stop at the gas station or at McDonald's or all this stuff before we went to a job. I was like, no, I'm gonna bring my little cooler, and I would bring all my food that would last me for a couple of days, and then I didn't have to touch my money to go out to eat all the time. So that's a huge tip. I feel like it's a given, like, you know, like, and I think the only time I do go out to eat is like if it's something that I really can't make. Like, for example, like pizza is like, I guess we'll pay for the pizza because it's, even though you could probably make it at home, it's just not that easy, and it's not something that you just make. But like a salad or pasta, or like even a steak, like $50–60 for a plate of steak, you could buy like 5 of them at the grocery store and make them really good at your house. So it's all about, you know, that's saving money. Believe it or not, look at how much money you're spending on going out to eat, and you'll thank me later by just looking at that. Another one that is in this category is Starbucks or coffee shops. Like, Starbucks is insanely expensive. Like, people drop $6–7 every day on like a latte. That's insane. Do you know how much it costs for a bag of coffee or like instant coffee? You could literally make a coffee every day at your house for like 3 weeks for $8. So it blows my mind that people are willing to spend $7–8 on like a cup of coffee. And believe me, I worked at Starbucks for 3–4 years, and I saw how much money people spent. The same people would come every day and spend like $20–30 because they would add a bagel, they would add like a $6 granola bar. Like, it's crazy how much money people spend, and I would just watch them like, are you ridiculous? Like, why are you here every day? You could literally make this at home. But again, this is people's choice. So I would say, like, if you are trying to budget your money, or you're struggling a little bit with money, look at these additional things that you just wouldn't even think. You're like, it's just $7–8. No, it's a lot of money when you actually calculate it per year and per month. It's huge. So that's another tip, is just look at those little expenses of like really luxurious things, because you can make coffee. Like, let's be honest, I would always bring my little mug and make my own coffee, or I would bring my instant coffee and ask for hot water. My oatmeal, I would bring my own oatmeal and I would ask for hot water. And people would always look at me weird, like, why don't you just buy the oatmeal? And I'm like, it's $3. I could buy literally like a pack with like 50 bags of oatmeal for $3. So I would ask for hot water. I didn't care. And people might see me as cheap because she's making her own oatmeal instead of buying it, but I was just always thinking of like every penny that I could save, and that could be good, that could be bad, but that's just who I am. It's at my core. I get happy when I save money. Like people, like my husband always thinks that like it's really weird because like if I save $1 or $2, like and I look at my receipt and it says like you save $4 or $5, like I get joy out of that. I'm like, woo, like this is the best day of my life. And it's not a lot of money, but it makes me happy. It's just who I am, like I said, very weird. Number 3 is, if you can, depending on your situation, is if you have 2 incomes, so like husband and wife, or you know, partner, girlfriend, whatever you do, if you're both bringing in some sort of income, it's good to work together as like saving a percentage of each of your paychecks and putting it in a joint account in savings. Or you could save one person's paycheck and you say like, let's pretend your paycheck doesn't exist and it's going into a savings account and we're only gonna live off mine. So that really depends on, you know, each of your incomes and if that even makes sense for you, or if you should do a 50-50. What we did for